And Jesus is also fully human. And the second nature of Jesus is that Jesus is not only fully God, he was fully human. And our Lord has existed throughout eternity. And when he became flesh, he possessed a perfect human body with soul and spirit, just like we have today. Jesus as a man is a mediator between God and men. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5. The man Jesus is the one who will save, according to Matthew 1, verse 21. And the name Jesus has the meaning of Yahweh saves. When Jesus fasted, he became hungry, proving his humanity in Matthew 4, verse 2. And when he walked through Samaria, he became tired and needed rest. John 4, verse 6. And on a day's journey, Jesus became thirsty, just like all mankind would, in John 4, verse 7. And Jesus wept over the death of Lazarus, showing that human emotion. In John 11, verses 34 through 35. Jesus wept of the city of Jerusalem, showing human grief. And that's in Matthew 23, verse 37, and Luke 19, verse 41. At the prospect of his crucifixion, Jesus was troubled in his human spirit, John 13, verse 21, and his soul was troubled in John 12, verse 27. And then we see that Jesus suffered in his human body as he experienced scourging and so on in John chapter 19, verse 1. On the cross, Jesus thirsted as a man, John 19, verse 28. And Jesus was born of a woman, making him a human being, in Galatians 4, verse 4. Jesus was physically descended from David, and we see that in Romans 1, verse 3, and 2 Timothy 2, verse 8. And Jesus had a body, for ointment was poured on his body in Matthew 26, verse 12, and Hebrews 10, verse 5. Jesus had a soul. We see that in John chapter 12, verse 27, and Matthew 26, verse 38. And Jesus had a spirit, according to Mark chapter 2, verse 8, Luke chapter 10, verse 21, and chapter 23, verse 46. If Jesus was not a man, he could not have died. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 12. And Jesus was referred to in Acts 17:31 as a man who will judge the world in righteousness. Thank you for listening.